Very loud, Mr. President.
Please call order, Madam Clerk, please call the roll. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Perkins
I'm here.
Dusty, Councilman Questa,
I'm here.
Councilman Grover,
Here.
Councilman Torres,
Here.
Councilman Gonzalez,
Here.
Councilman Keenan,
Here.
Councilman Sedan,
Here.
Councilman Mazza,
Here.
President Call.
Here. Got a full house, wow. I remember clicking. This is a regular conference of the City Council as incorporated in the annual meeting notice of 2013, which was filed in the City Clerk's office and posted on the bulletin board on December 27, 2012. And sent to the Star Ledger, Home News Tribune, and complies with the provision of the Open Public Meeting Law of New Jersey. At this time, we have public speaking. Anyone from the public like to address City Council? And any matter, please step forward, state your name and address for the record.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Michelle
Hi.
Nelson. I'm the CEO and founder of House of Booker Publishing. I've been here once in June. My outdoor solar powered mobile device charging kiosk, asking your permission to install on Broad Street. You asked for an ordinance. The legal department has drafted an ordinance. Mr. Travisano said that he would be here tonight. I don't know if you'll have the ordinance that you don't have?
Yes.
You do have
Yes, we
it?
have it.
Yes,
we already
have it. That's tonight?
Yeah, the ordinance is in there.
Yeah,
You got it in-
it's under the business administrator.
Yeah.
Okay.
So everyone knows about this situation. It's not new to them.
Okay, so I'm here to ask if you would pass the ordinance, sign the ordinance, or put it
right
on
here.
for a vote or something. As such, you requested the ordinance.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we just, the ordinance has been drafted, we'll review it,
Okay,
and then we'll, open for discussion.
okay.
Cool, okay?
Okay, thank you so very much.
All right, thank you. And anyone else, any resident, or citizen, or taxpayer like to address City Council in the matter?
Good night.
Once again, any resident or taxpayer like to address City Council in the matter? Seeing none, close the question meeting.
Letter dated August 13, 2013, from the Business Administrator, recommending awarding a contract to Firefighter 1, Sparta, New Jersey, for the purchase of personal protection items and equipment through the Morris County Co-op for the period July 1, 2013 through June 30, 2014, in the amount not to exceed $60,000.
Any question? Put it on.
Letter dated August 14, 2013, from the Business Administrator, recommending awarding a contract to International Salt Company, LLC, Clark Summit, Pennsylvania, for the purchase of bulk rock salt for the Department of Public Works under the Union County Cooperative Purchasing Contract for the period August 12, 2013 through October 21st, 2014, at a cost not to exceed $363,230.
Any question? Tony, I just, or anyone, Tony, I got this question.
Sure.
Do you know if they used up all the amount of salt they
From
purchased
last
last year?
From last year?
Yeah, do you know?
No, I don't.
You know?
Well, I'll find out.
I mean,
Yeah.
not that I'm gonna hold up, I'm just for the record, I'd just like to know.
Yeah, sure, we'll find out, but again, this is open contract. We're
Right.
not gonna be necessarily spending that much money.
Yeah, I understand.
Spend it as you use it.
Yeah, okay.
Contract, but I will find out.
Yeah, thank you, that's all, thanks. Put it on.
Letter dated August 14, 2013, from the Business Administrator, recommending awarding a contract to Marla Ford Lincoln Mercury, North Brunswick, New Jersey, for auto and light-duty truck parts for various departments under the Somerset County Cooperative Purchasing Contract for the period August 14, 2013 through August 14, 2014, at a cost not to exceed $50,000.
Any question? Put it on.
Letter dated August 14, 2013, from the Business Administrator, recommending awarding a contract to Associated Auto Parts, Linden, New Jersey, for auto and light-duty truck parts for various departments under the Somerset County Cooperative Purchasing Contract for the period of August 14, 2013 through August 14, 2014, at a cost not to exceed $150,000.
Question? Put it on.
Letter dated August 14, 2013, from the Business Administrator, recommending awarding a contract to Bywise Auto Parts, Vauxhall, New Jersey, for auto and light-duty truck parts for various departments under the Somerset County Cooperative Purchasing Contract for the period August 14, 2013 through August 14, 2014, at a cost not to exceed $100,000.
Any questions? Yes?
Question.
Yes?
Mr. President, can have the law department explain to me what, I could understand correctly, what is an open-end contract? Because I see almost the same company for the same description and the next previous contract. This one is 100,000, the one before 50,000, I think, another one is for whatever the amount.
Councilman, I believe that they like to have various suppliers because sometimes one may not have the parts that they need. And an open-ended contract is, you're buying it as you need it. And then you pay for it. But if you don't need it, if you don't need the part, then you don't buy it.
Okay, and who keeps the record of who signs for whatever they buy that is in need in the department or whatever, let's say, if it's a public works, recreation, or whatever, all the agents that we have under the city, who keeps record of what goes out, if it goes out to payment, or whether the job was done or wasn't done? How do we have a certainty that it gets done?
Yeah, there would be a certificate of availability, and that's going down each and every time that the person...
Certificate of what, Tony?
Availability. In other words, they start off with a certificate stating that not to exceed the 300 some odd thousand in this particular case. And as it's drawn down, it's accounted for by purchaser and by vendor. So if you reach that $300,000 limit, you have to go out for an amendment, let's say, to the contract.
Okay.
And just provide another...
Mr. President,
Yeah, Councilman, I don't know when I was in public section with the county, you know, I had the same type of thing. I wanted them to say, but I used to keep my own tab. You know, what I mean, where we had, I'm making a supposition check, 100,000, 300,000. I used to keep my own running record. What we spent out of that account, that we would deduct that from that amount for the, you know, the amount, and then we'll keep a running balance. And then, like the attorney said, if we didn't need it, we didn't buy it. And at the end of the year, we had a balance. Then it would go back into.
okay, I understand, but just to finish up my thoughts so that I could have clear, it's just like I go to the dentist and I get my mouth fixed for this year, and I spend 150,000. Last year, we had almost a similar contract, with the exception of maybe just changing the date of the different amount, but almost the same figure comes up on a yearly basis. If I fix my mouth this year, next year, we come up with again with the same amount, that means it's gonna be less expenses for the city to come up.
Mr. Councilman, can I just bring some clarity? Maybe I won't, but I'll try. It's the purchasing agent who keeps the record. So
Okay.
you can go to the purchasing agent to find out, you know, how much the contractor, you know, how much he or she or the company have spent thus far on that contract. It's the purchasing agent. If I'm not, am I correct?
You can ask that, Tony can give us that information.
Right, but Tony can, but also the purchasing agent.
Yeah, well, it's built into this computer system.
Right,
In
so
other words,
it's
you go
in
by vendor, you'll have the
The name and
expenditures
how
by
much,
account
and the
number,
date and
et
everything.
cetera. Or we have it by certificate number.
Like I said, we used to keep
Various-
our own. I used to keep my
Yeah,
own
but
running
now we
tab.
just
I know,
use
yeah.
my computer.
Some departments do.
I did have a computer, whether you know it or not.
I know. Okay. Well,
May
you
I
said you
finish,
kept your
Mr.
own
President?
list.
Right, I kept my own records in the computer though. I didn't say get by new train.
Yeah, but we don't keep the records because we're legislators.
I said, I'm just saying, in that department, they're probably keeping their
Yeah,
own.
but he
I didn't say
was-
we did. I
Okay.
didn't say we did. I was just giving you an example. Those people's in that department, various department, probably keep their own.
Yeah, some
record.
departments, like
Yeah.
I would say public
Right,
works,
probably keep their own
they
record.
keep a control,
Right.
their own control,
Exactly.
little manual log, but we do have an automated log that,
Right.
again, keeps it by vendor
Exactly.
and keeps it by account number.
In the
So-
finance
In
department.
the finance department.
Yeah, so-
And the purchasing
And the
agent.
purchasing
And
agent.
also the department can frequent the automated system.
But,
A lot of control.
Councilman Mazza, let me
Yeah.
finish.
I know that we get this, when we say pay the bills, I have tons of, let's say, of bills, and I usually like to go through. And sometime if I have a question, I would just come to see you, and I get the end. Is that correct, Tony? Okay, because last week, there was a bill that I received that was in, and you had my name on, that you refunded me $5,000. And I brought to attention my colleague next door to me, and councilman from the 3rd, Joe Keenan, my good friend. And I said, Joe, it looks like that I received 5,000 plus the expenses for my phone, 5,000 whatever. that was the check that I returned to the city. That thing should not appear as a payment of the bill because, you know,
That was canceled.
I understand, but you should have put that down. If it was canceled, it appeared under Franco Mazza. It's supposed to be Franco Mazza Civic Association. Understand, Tony? So you should be able to correct that. I don't want anybody to go check a record and it goes, oh, Mr. Mazza got a $5,000, you know, city expenses, and then I might have to claim to my thing. So I need you to correct that for me, Tony.
Yeah, that was corrected, and I think that it
You
was
probably
some
did it.
payment on the check and we replaced the check. with
Right,
the,
but on the
correct
bill.
Information, right.
On the bill, it went out to the public, or will be on record in the public, like this past month that we approved, that I received a $5,000 bonus from the city, Mr. Attorney, so let's put that for a record in your law department too, so that I'm correcting the controller here tonight.
If it's still, I want the board.
Right? Tony, seriously, because you never know, you know, somebody, whatever. But anyway, thank you for the answer, Mr. Ozapolo, Mr. President.
You okay?
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Councilman.
Yeah, I just had one question. Tony, if you could find out how much we've spent the last year in auto and light duty truck parts?
The truck parts.
I
Yeah.
think that's the more important question.
Okay, put it on. And you'll get that answer first, Tony, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
thanks.
And, Mr. President, if I
I'm
may.
sorry, go ahead, Councilman.
Councilman raised a good point. We just went through a whole purchase of brand new trucks. We redid the bodies on the tandems. There's probably gonna be less expense, I hope,
Oh, I
than we
think
did
it,
the previous year. So
I
I
think it is.
think Councilman Gonzalez's question is very appropriate. And then we'd like to compare that to the expense that occurs in 2013.
Correct.
And I have to believe that the 2013 expense will be less than 2012.
I concur with that. Anything else, Councilman? Councilman Grover?
Nope.
Okay. Put it.
Okay, letter dated August 14, 2013, from the Business Administrator recommending awarding a contract to Dell Marketing LP, Round Rock, Texas, for the purchase of Dell computer servers and replacement parts for Dell computers for various city buildings for the period September 1, 2013 through August 31, 2014, at a cost not to exceed $200,000.
Any questions? Put it on.
Letter dated August 16, 2013, from the Business Administrator recommending awarding a contract to Cliffside Body, Fairview, New Jersey, for a new dump body and with associated parts repairs for three 1998 Freightliner dump trucks at a cost of $65,000.
Any questions? Put it on.
Letter dated August 26, 2013, from the Business Administrator, recommending awarding a contract to Mazer Consulting, PA, Red Bank, New Jersey, to provide professional engineering services inclusive of civil engineering, construction administration, and educational services for additional site inspections, materials, and repairs for the operations and maintenance of the Mickey Walker Spray Park facility in the amount of $5,627.31.
Question? Put it on.
Letter dated August 29, 2013, from the Business Administrator, requesting authorization to purchase a 2013 Ford Explorer to be utilized by Fire Headquarters to replace the inoperable Ford Escort in the amount of $32,138.72.
Okay. Any questions?
Mr. President, what do they do with the old one?
Now, that's a good question. They're probably gonna, hope they get rid of it. They didn't say. In 1997. They're probably ready for the graveyard. Tony, do you know?
No,
You
we'll
just-
it's either gonna be a junk sale
I'm pretty
or,
sure, yeah.
or passed down.
Could you
to-
find out, let us know? Yeah, 1997. They don't have the mileage here, but I did that. I didn't quote the mileage. Yeah, they didn't quote the mileage, okay. That was one of the things that we had to quote the mileage. That's here up there. Although we did it on computer, not YouTube.
Mr.
Yes,
President,
Councilman.
another question. You see in parentheses, 2013 Ford Explorer, parentheses, police interceptor SUV, close parentheses. Does it mean that the police department is lending this truck to the fire department, or is some kind of a special truck?
Don't
It's a
think
special
so.
truck.
Seems to be a special.
Huh?
The Interceptor is a police vehicle.
Complete vehicle.
And what does the fire department got to do with the police vehicle?
It supposedly has the ability to get to scenes a lot faster.
All right, that's good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Letter dated August 30, 2013, from the business administrator requesting authorization for the issuance of medical professional liability insurance with Evanston Insurance Company, Deerfield, Illinois, through agent of record, Otterstedt Insurance Agency, covering city nurses for the period August 3rd, 2013 to August 3rd, 2014, at an annual premium of $16,479.
Any questions?
Letter dated August 30, 2013, from the business administrator, requesting authorization for the proper city officials to execute a contract with Union Square Medical Associates Elizabeth for professional medical services covering fire, police, and city employees for the period September 1, 2013 to August 31st, 2014, at a cost not to exceed $95,000.
Any questions?
Letter dated September 3rd, 2013, from the business administrator requesting authorization for the proper city officials to assist in the planting and dedication of a tree in Winfield Scott Park on behalf of Josephine's Place.
Any questions?
Letter dated September 3rd, 2013, from the business administrator requesting to establish Chapter 12.76 of the Code of the City of Elizabeth entitled Construction, Installation, and Maintenance of Solar Energy Stations.
Which one is this one?
This is the one that you ladies just came before us.
That's the one.
Mr. President, so that the lady understands, she called me several times, and she was under the impression that she had the final approval from you as the city
Yeah.
council president. And I told him, I said, there is no final approval until it goes through the reading, and the mayor signs, and then goes into effect either immediately or right after 30 days.
Yeah.
She said, well, I got the-
We both signed, Councilman. I signed it.
I know, that's what I'm saying, but she was under the impression, I said, that because he said that was okay, that she had the okay to go and install. I said, no, you don't, you have to wait. And if you don't believe me, come before city council. That's why she's here tonight.
Right.
So now this will be going, this already went for review by the law department,
Yes.
Yes, it has.
and it's okay to go on the agenda, right?
Yes.
And once we vote and all the protocol gets done, that will be what, 30 days from now?
Now, it takes about 20 days after we sign. Anyway, we approve it next week, and once it gets back to us, we sign it, the mayor sign it, it'll take 20 days. So by the end of the month, it should be effective.
No, okay, because, you know,
No, the middle of October.
By middle of October,
It's
it takes
it's
a
an
month.
ordinance, and so it has to
Yeah, about it, yeah.
have a second reading.
That's correct.
And a public hearing.
All right.
And then
You
we
read the middle
adopt
of
it.
By
October.
middle of October, so.
Yeah.
no, I want to make sure,
She left.
she left. I wanted to make sure that she understands. I know she watches YouTube, that she cannot go and install a factor next week or whatever.
No.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Bye.
She's anxious, Councilman.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah, I don't blame her.
it's been over a year, Mr. President.
Yeah.
Over a year.
And other people just install stuff in the city, don't
Yeah,
even know what's
don't even get a permit.
And they don't even, right, and we don't even take it down.
Mr. President, how many does she want to install?
Did you say they can have this?
One.
Just
One.
one.
Just one?
Just
I know, just one.
Yeah. No, I just wasn't sure if she was looking.
Yeah, I think it's just
Just
one.
one.
Full one.
It's just a temp, what do
I
you call
think
it?
it's
sample?
one, I think we
Yeah, then
discussed
if it
about one,
works.
then she could come back again or something like that.
Well, this ordinance in effect sets up a general application
everybody.
procedure and it says where they can be put and where they can't be put, and so it's a general, if other people wanted to come and make application, they could. It doesn't limit the number to one or anything else.
But I think the young lady just wanted to put one right there.
If it's successful, I'm sure she wants to put more. With
Exactly.
Sarah, somebody else would be great for the city for free.
Right.
You know what I
And she'll
mean?
file an application and put it
Right,
on.
right.
Yes,
That's good.
okay.
Okay. Letter dated August 7th, 2013, from Chief Financial Officer requesting authorization for the tax collector to issue an appropriate duplicate tax sales certificate to 72 Oak Street Holdings LLC, covering the premises located at 53 West Grand Street.
Any question?
Letter dated September 3rd, 2013, from Chief Financial Officer advising that transfers for the 2013 state fiscal year municipal and sewer utility budgets may be necessary.
Any question?
Letter dated September 3rd, 2013, from the Chief Financial Officer advising that temporary emergency appropriations for the 2014 state fiscal year municipal and sewer utility budgets may be necessary.
Any question? Yeah, Tom?
For the budget?
What?
Yeah, budget
The
transfer.
budget. Oh, I'm sorry.
What? No.
No, I thought that was for the budget.
Oh, budget, no,
Okay, it's coming up.
that's the temporary
Just a
appropriation.
temporary.
Okay, letter dated September 2nd, 2013, from Chief Financial Officer advising that in compliance with the state fiscal year 2014 Appropriations Act requires your honorable body to approve all payments related to accumulated uncompensated absence benefits.
Any question?
Letter dated September 3rd, 2013, from Chief Financial Officer requesting that your honorable body consider the introduction and approval of the 2014 state fiscal year municipal and sewer utility budget.
That's what you're doing, Mr. Chief Financial?
Yeah, I just wanted to speak on that. The process is, we'll be introducing it next Tuesday, September 10th. The adoption and public hearing is scheduled for November 12th. In between, we normally set a date for our city council and the finance team to go over the budget in detail. We'll be providing the department detail within a week or two to city council, and then we can set a date. Can either set it tonight, or you can set it later on as to when most of the council will be available to go over that budget.
You guys want to do it tonight or will we wait?
We usually, Mr. President, we usually meet half an hour before or an hour before the council meetings.
Want to do that? That's
We
what
could either do it in September or in October.
I want to do it.
If we do it 2 weeks from today.
Yeah.
Want to do it in September or October? Doesn't matter to me.
Well, yeah, we might not get it out for another week or so.
Why don't we wait till
It's got to be bound and everything.
Want to wait till October?
Yeah, maybe
That way it gives us
early
enough
October.
time?
The first
Yeah.
Tuesday in October.
First Tuesday in October.
Okay.
That's fair enough?
Yes, that'll be fine.
At 7 o'clock, right?
I would say
Yeah, whatever you say.
6:30.
6:30 might be better,
Okay.
yeah.
So the first Tuesday in October.
What day's that,
At 6:30.
agenda.
Yolanda?
Yeah, pre-council.
What happened?
Council meeting.
First July and 7th.
October, so.
I mean, October, I
You
said July.
That's all right. That's all right. Charge to your head, not your heart.
That's October 1st, right?
July.
Don't go back.
October 1st.
October 1st.
Okay.
October 1st, oh my goodness.
That's all right. Yeah, Councilman.
Yeah, to Mr. Tony here, the sewer utility budget, what happened with the settlement with whatever company, B and C?
We're still in
Still
settlement
on.
talks. It's on, been tabled indefinitely until we.
We're still in settlement talks before the special manager, retired Judge Keith. As a matter of fact, we have a meeting tomorrow morning with some of the participants. We're hoping that it can be settled, but we're not sure at this time.
So that means if we don't settle with them, the sewer budget,
We don't know exactly what it means.
okay,
Councilman.
understand,
I would not speculate on
no
it.
problem.
Yeah, well, again, the sewer budget can be
No, you
introduced
don't move.
on September 10th, and it's not going to be adopted until
So November
November
12th.
12th, so anything in between that, if there's any amendments, we'll make them accordingly. And, we'll find out.
No problem. We'll be here.
Yes, an ongoing process, Councilman. So,
Thank you.
This is Rocco Band.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Letter dated August 7, 2013, from the Director of Health and Human Services requesting authorization to disperse to the Elizabeth Board of Education for the use of custodial security and bus services for the SOAR Summer Program held July 8, 2013, ending on August 16, 2013, in the amount of $28,380.
Any questions?
Letter dated August 12, 2013, from the Director of Health and Human Services requesting authorization to enter into an agreement between the City of Elizabeth, Department of Health and Human Services, and the Elizabeth Board of Education to provide nursing services to 1,657 students enrolled in 7 non-public schools in the city for the period September 1, 2013 through June 30, 2014. The Department of Health and Human Services will receive $127,921.
Any questions?
Record keeping mind. It says a copy of last year's resolution is attached for your convenience. Every year.
Wait.
That's what it says, a copy. Did you get the copy?
No.
Did you get an attachment?
No,
For which,
Yolanda, you didn't get a copy on you.
for which
I
one?
didn't get a copy.
For which one?
Cool.
With the provision of nursing services. I haven't got a copy of it either.
I mean, it doesn't make a difference, but it's just,
Oh, yeah, it's just like I said, it's a record keeping.
Yeah. Mr. President, when we were talking about that, with the accumulated uncompensated absence benefits, we didn't get a copy of that one
Can we
either.
get a copy of
No, I
that?
didn't
Of
get
the
that
two
in.
No.
resolutions.
Did you get it?
We won't have the actual pay until it's computed by employee benefits. That'll be sometime, hopefully within the next week. If not, we'll get the information for the second meeting in September. So that's just to put it on. If we do get the information, we'll present it in a resolution for next Tuesday. I think there's only 1 or 2 people who
Yes,
are
okay.
retiring, but they have to compute it and double check it. The employee benefits computes it, then our payroll department computes it.
So we'll get it at that time,
Yeah.
if it's gonna go on. If
Yeah.
not,
We can
we'll
always-
delay it
So
till
we're
the...
not gonna put it on next, so we're not gonna vote on it?
Well, we don't know if we're gonna get that computation from employee benefits yet. So if we do, we'll put it on. Otherwise, we'll put it on for the second
We will
meeting
receive the
in September.
information. Council will receive the information.
Oh, yeah, for sure, absolutely.
Okay.
And I said, there's only 1 or 2 people.
I think you can get it till later on.
Okay. Letter dated August 29, 2013, from the Director of Planning and Community Development, requesting to amend the resolution dated June 25, 2013, granting an extension of time for the Tri-County Red Cross Emergency Solutions Grant, specifically to change the name of the agency from Tri-County American Red Cross to American National Red Cross, located at 707 Alexander Road, Suite 101, Princeton.
Any questions?
yeah, I got a question. So does that mean that the grant now can be used throughout the whole country?
Tony, you got anything? On
Which one was
that
that?
emergency resolution grant,
The Red Cross.
emergency resolution for the Red Cross?
They're gonna change it to the American Red Cross, American National Red Cross. That means that I guess any monies that we give to them can be used nationally?
I don't know. That one is,
Can you find out the answer for that?
can you find out, Tony, get that to us from the director?
Yeah, I'll get some more people.
All right, thanks.
You understand the question, Tony, right?
Not really, but I'm gonna look into it.
He wants to find out if what you're gonna receive, go national.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
Originally, the money
But I
was
wanna
going
get
to a Tri-County
more-
American Red
yeah,
Cross.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Now
wanna
it's
get
going
more.
to American National Red Cross. That means the money's going to,
That's what his question was.
Yeah, I wanna get more detail on that.
Okay, all right.
I have one.
Yeah.
I thought it was somebody. Okay, all right, good.
All right. Letter dated August 30, 2013, from the Director of Planning and Community Development, requesting authorization for a 2-year extension on the lease agreement between City of Elizabeth and the Elizabeth Board of Education for the rental of space at 630 South Street to house the Center for Infant Development that provides child care, health service, and counseling to adolescent parents attending Elizabeth High School for the period October 1, 2013 to September 30, 2015, at a cost of $1
Any questions?
per year.
Very well. Yes, Councilman.
Mr. President, just before we got a bill from the Board of Education to the City of Elizabeth,
Which one's that?
$28,000 to pay for the
Sewer program.
SOAR program, right? And now we have the city of Elizabeth, we're giving a piece of land and property for $1, which, you know, I think we should, the Board of Education and the city of Elizabeth, whenever we have things that benefits our taxpayers or our students or our citizens, it should be dealt in an equal way, you know.
I agree.
Know what I'm saying? Instead of school buses, they are there, they get paid by the board in order to serve our children, our community. Those are the children of Elizabeth. Or if you do lease a place, it should be granted in the same way we grant them for $1. So something that maybe we should send a letter to our business administrator for the Board of Ed, let them know that, you know, we should work mutually. It's the same taxpayer. So you can come up with an idea with that
We
one.
can make that happen.
Well, listen, if you don't try, give it the olive branch, you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I
And
understand.
be a war all the time, and, you know, it'll be in peace sometime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
I always say don't pay it,
Huh?
but I don't get any support, you guys put it on.
Okay.
Okay. Letter dated August 30, 2013, from the Director of Planning and Community Development, requesting that your honorable body consider support of McGill Real Estate Holdings LLC's application for funding to the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs under the Neighborhood Enhancement Program to acquire and rehabilitate an existing vacant 6-unit residential structure located at 620 East Jersey Street in an amount not to exceed $900,000 or the maximum amount allowed in accordance with the Neighborhood Enhancement Program guidelines.
Any questions? Ready to-
Come on.
Letter dated August 12, 2013, from the Director of Public Works, requesting permission to have liens placed against properties listed on Schedule A attached here to for the boarding of said properties in the amount of $2,773.32.
Any questions? Ready to-
Letter dated August 12, 2013, from the Director of Public Works, requesting permission to have liens placed against properties listed on Schedule A attached hereto for the removal and disposal of debris from said properties in the amount of $11,055.09.
Any questions? Ready to-
Letter dated August 28, 2013, from the Director of Public Works, recommending awarding a contract to Let It Grow, Inc., River Edge, New Jersey, for the bike, hike, and roll extension at a cost of $398,558.05.
Any questions?
Sounds like a hair solution. Excuse me.
What
No
exactly is
comments.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What exactly is this, Tom? What exactly is this?
I think Let It Grow is a company.
I don't sound like
You're
one
gonna
from
put
the
it on the 97, you'll do the one for
What exactly are we doing? I'm just not clear.
The name told you what, right?
It's like hike and roll.
Hike and
That's
roll.
down
If you
at
look, there's a map
Marina?
attached to
Down by
the,
us.
the marina, yeah.
Yeah.
basically, it's what was destroyed by Superstorm Sandy.
I think that's what it is.
Is that what it is? I don't know.
Bike, hike, and roll is down by us.
Is that you? Oh, is that you, Councilman?
Yeah,
It's
right
the
here.
waterfront then.
It's down by the waterfront.
I think that's part of the, if I'm
Is
not
that the,
mistaken, it's part of the waterfront
Marina?
It extends it from the,
bond ordinance.
it extends it from the end of the boardwalk all the way to Marcianti Park.
Yeah.
It's part of the marina, ain't it, man?
Yeah.
Part of it.
Okay, I
There's a
didn't.
map over here.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the one this one?
Here's a little map of that.
Yeah, but I'm just looking for
Oh,
finance.
oh,
Specifically,
I'm looking
the
up in
bond
here.
ordinance for the waterfront.
You're only getting 17. You're only getting
Okay, thank you.
The question I have, Mr. President,
90%.
can I ask a question on this?
Go ahead, Councilman.
Tony, where is this money coming from?
I'm guessing, I'm looking at the account number, it appears to be the waterfront bond ordinance, which is for $20 million.
Right.
Can you make sure? of
Sure,
that?
oh yeah.
Because
Sure,
we just
yeah.
bonded that 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And if we're gonna use money from someplace else, then
Yeah.
it makes no sense
Right.
to be using
Mhm.
it.
Yeah. Because
It
then
said the city
we
has
passed,
received a grant in the amount of 290.
did we pass a bond ordinance for that, Council? We passed a bond?
Well, I'm gonna check on the account number.
It's a question, because if we're gonna redo this with this money here, if we're gonna redo the bike, hike, and roll throughway with this money, with this $290,000 grant,
Right.
then we don't need to bond 400,000 of that 20 million. Yes, it's gonna get redone.
The only question I have is that 290 is enough to do the whole,
I don't know.
that's what I don't.
I don't know the
No,
answer
it
to
says
that.
it's
But-
390.
Is that the question you have,
Right.
Council?
So there's a difference of $100,000.
Is that your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the question is also,
Where's it coming from?
yeah, we have the $20 million for the water fund, which covers this. And I think what the councilman said, this might be overlapping in another bond ordinance. So we'll check the account numbers, see where exactly it's coming from, and make sure that's not overlapped.
Right, so we don't need to bond 20 million, we could
Right,
bond 19.5.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If we're using already money from someplace else.
Councilman, you have something else, or you something else?
No, I was just saying that the total amount was 398,000, so it's still gonna be short by 100,000.
Oh, you mean for the.
So the
400?
grant won't
Right.
pay, right, the grant won't pay for the whole project.
But that's, yeah, that was kind of my question.
Just wanted to know exactly
But
what
I
it
think
was.
council want to find out.
No, I agree with that, I agree.
Right. No, no, I hear you, I
But
hear
that's
you.
300, that's 290,000 we don't need to bond.
Right,
I mean, $300,000,
makes sense.
No, yeah.
then you bond 19.7. You know what I mean, that's the point I'm trying to make.
No, that's good. Okay. Okay, Tony, get that on this one. Next one. Okay.
We'll double check on those accounts.
Letter dated August 28, 2013, from the Director of Public Works, recommending awarding a contract to Alnetta Necco Contractors, Bridgewater, New Jersey, for the on-call contract for sidewalk and drainage improvements at various city parks and city right-of-ways for a period of 1 year at a cost of $375,545.
Any question?
Is this just a general parks?
I have the answers that
The various city parks
various parks, in all parks
and
now.
city roads.
I tried to find out if they would identify the parks, but I didn't get that information.
Yeah.
They said all parks, so throughout the whole city.
Well, can they identify them?
Well, that's what I asked for, Councilwoman. I asked for it. But here's my note. See, that's the note I got. I asked for
I'll check
what
this
park,
out.
identify the park, but they gave me an answer, all parks.
So the county parks they're gonna do?
City
No,
parks.
city parks,
Oh, okay.
city parks.
I have a concern with this, because I think we have enough enough guys in our own public works that can do this job and not cost us $375,000.
Well, see, that's why, Council, that's why I asked if they would identify the park, so we could
Can
get
we
an
hold this
idea
up?
what park need the most. You know what I'm saying?
Can we hold this up, Mr. President?
Well, can we hold
There's
up,
none
if
of
Tony,
this.
Tony can get the information
I can try
before?
and get some information.
And then if it does, Councilman, that's fair? If he doesn't get enough for us, we can always pull it? That's good enough?
That's fair.
Okay.
My problem is that when they do these things, they already have major issues, they're not done properly. It's just complicated with a lot of complexities that leave the job looking kind of, professional. That's my problem with this, Mr. President. Like, no one watches these guys or these people, girls, or whoever out there working to do the type of jobs properly.
See, let me raise a point,
Go ahead.
okay? Because I know a lot of these companies, they all work on union labor, they gotta pay union wages. We have manpower in our public works. Laborers, guys that know how to work concrete, that if you bring those guys in on overtime, it'll still be cheaper than paying union wages. And I think you could get a lot done. I'm not saying do it all in one shot, but like, for example, down by us, Jackson Park, I counted because I walk that park every morning. There are 62 slabs that need to be replaced. Okay? They don't have to do all 62 in one day. They could bring in a crew on a Saturday, 3 Saturdays in a row, and they probably could lay down 10 slabs each Saturday. So make it six Saturdays. And it would probably cost us less than paying these guys union wages to do that same work. That's my whole issue. I mean, labor makes 16 bucks an hour in the public works. You pay the guy 24 bucks, he's a hero, he feels great because he lives in Elizabeth, and he's now made a little more money, so he's gonna spend it here in Elizabeth. Instead, we're bringing a company from where?
Who knows where?
Bridgewater.
Yeah, I hear you, Councilman.
I got a problem with that.
I hear you, but we got a lot of, like I said, if it identify, I asked for it to identify the parks that need to work on. I mean, they said all the parks, that's some, hold that.
If it is if it's 20 parks, but my point is, give our guys the bone. Why are we bringing in a company from the outside?
Yeah, hold that point. The only thing is, I know we are not, I mean, we have capable guys, but I don't think we have enough guys. So
Then hire more guys.
well, you don't have enough guys to put them on to keep them full-time, you know what I'm saying? So my point is, you're gonna wear out the few guys that we have working during the day, and then bring them in overtime, you're gonna overwork these guys.
I disagree with you.
I trust me, that's not easy, that's not easy work.
Or if not, maybe, Mr. President, maybe we can split it. Give some of the work to the guys and give the contractors some.
I agree too.
Well, that might be a way to go, but I don't think.
I just think our guys have the, listen, back when I first came on council, and Councilman Perkins and Frank Wester, our guys used to do all the sewer repairs. We used to we rent the machine from the county and we pave some of the sections that needed to be paved. Now everything's contracted
And it
out.
was less issues
Absolutely.
after the fact.
Yeah.
And I must agree with
Yeah.
my colleague, it was less issues.
We
less
now
issues.
contract everything out. We're paying top dollar. We have no control over these guys because they don't work for us.
Well, that's where the director of
And they
departments.
disrespect our city.
We have no control over it, council.
Streets.
I think it's worth even exploring, just see if it's
You know what?
worth doing.
Have the director give us a cost of what it would cost for our guys to do this on overtime.
Cost analysis.
I'd love to see what that number was. I bet you it's under 375.
We can request that, but I just,
I just think we're wasting money.
And we can hold it up until we get that cost analysis.
well, you can get that by next week, Tony. I know the director can get that information by next week.
The work that has to be done, what would it cost our guys to do it?
Okay, would you get that, Tony, by next
I
week?
bet you'd be a lot cheaper than 375.
Okay. Right. So we want information on that also? Okay, I'll put that over.
I just think we got guys in city yard that all live in town,
I'm not gonna dispute that.
okay? They all live in town,
Well,
and yet we're giving out all these jobs, sewer jobs, all these jobs to people from Bridgewater.
I was,
Come on.
what you're saying may have held true years ago by everybody lives in town, but now that the contract state that you can live out of the city, after what, 5 years or 4 years or 2 years? 15 years. whatever it is.
15 years.
Most of the guys moved out of town, Councilman. They don't live here anymore.
I won't say most of them. Very few moved
We got a
out.
lot of them still.
Yeah, we got,
The
yeah,
public work.
we got some of them, yeah, but not all.
But regardless, the point is, I think our guys can do it for a lot cheaper than we'll.
Right, we'll get the information.
I just want to just add, especially how the economy is, I know many of those guys would benefit just with the overtime.
They would love
It would
it.
be-
They would love it. because
We'll get the
overtime has been
information.
I
cut.
think they jump on it.
Yeah.
We'll get the information.
4 or 5 guys in on a Saturday, pay, do 10 or 15 of those slabs in Jackson Park or Kellogg Park, or, you know what?
Whatever's needed.
They'll love it. They'll feel like heroes because they got 8 hours of OT, and it would still save us a lot more money than 375.
So we're looking for two
They
things.
get the
We're looking-
information.
We're looking for the parks, the parks they have designated, and also
And the
cost
cost
analysis.
analysis.
Well, I would think, Mr. President, if they've requested it, they know which parks need what kind of work.
Right, or else they wouldn't have come up with this
Why
number.
can't we have access to that information?
They say it right on here.
Well, they'll get-
It says 3,000 feet,
Yeah.
3,000 square yards.
Right, in order to put the
Concrete
bid out,
sidewalk.
you know what you're
But
doing.
this is Greek to me.
Like I said, I just want.
That's the biggest expense. If you look across, the 3,000 square yards of concrete, if you guys look at the tabulation in the back,
I know what this means.
right at the top, 3,000 square yards of concrete, okay, it's costing this company $60.75 per yard to lay down. That's $182,000. I don't think it costs our guys $6.75 per yard to lay down.
Well, we'll get the cost analysis. Okay.
Letter dated August 29, 2013, from the Director of Public Works, requesting authorization for the proper city officials to apply, accept, and sign all appropriate documents for the New Jersey Department of Transportation's Bikeway Grant Program for funds to expand upon the Elizabeth River Trail project by implementing phase 3 of the initiative, to include but not be limited to design elements as well as the incorporation of benches, bike racks, and garbage receptacles. To be constructed between South Street and Summer Street in an amount not to exceed $1,100,000.
Okay, we in the sixth ward again?
Yeah, Mr. President,
This is the second one.
This is the second ward? Oh, okay.
it's only an application.
That's better.
It's only an application.
I thought we
I'd
spent
love
money
to
in
see
that-
phase 2
in that
finish
sixth
up.
ward. We gotta come up for air now.
I know we
Sixth ward.
should.
My God,
That's where the money is.
every time I turn
I share my
around,
money with everybody in the city.
We're doing work in that sixth ward down there. First is a soccer
Yeah,
field, a soccer field, new fence and all this stuff.
When you get the bill.
Put it on.
Letter dated August 29, 2013, from the Director of Public Works, requesting authorization for the proper city officials to apply, accept, and sign all appropriate documents for the New Jersey Department of Transportation Safe Streets to Transit Program for funds to implement a new traffic light system at Broad Street and East-West Grand Street in an amount not to exceed $440,000.
Any questions?
Letter dated August 29, 2013, from the Director of Public Works, requesting authorization for the proper city officials to apply, accept, and sign all appropriate documents for the New Jersey Department of Transportation's Municipal Aid Program for funds to implement new traffic light systems at East Jersey Street and Winfield Scott Plaza, as well as at Jackson Avenue and Monroe Avenue, in an
Hallelujah.
amount not to exceed $700,000.
Hallelujah, they've gone over in the fifth ward. My God. How did that happen? Wait a minute.
Letter dated August 29,
This used to be the sixth ward,
2013,
Mr. President.
from the Director
Took
of
it away
Public
from me.
Works, requesting authorization for the proper city officials to apply, accept, and sign all appropriate documents for the New Jersey Department of Transportation's Local Aid for Transit Village Grant Program for funds to implement a new traffic light system at Morris Avenue and Westfield Avenue in an amount not to exceed $410,000.
Any questions? Very nice.
Letter dated August 30, 2013, from the Director of Public Works, requesting permission to have liens placed against properties listed on Schedule A attached here to for the removal and disposal of debris from said properties in the amount of $8,705.90.
Any questions? Very nice.
Letter dated August 12, 2013, from the Police Director requesting to establish handicap parking spaces. Okay. Ward 2, 452 South Broad Street. Hold it. Ward 6, 601 3rd Avenue, personalized.
Wait a second, not too long ago, we removed this parking space because, I don't want to say the words, but put them on hold because there's a little confusion there,
Okay.
Yolanda.
Okay.
If you check at the last month, or it might be a month ago, we removed this parking space from 601 3rd Avenue. And the same person, I thought it was related to Mr. Sedania, but it wasn't.
No
Okay.
relation.
No relation, right. So let me investigate and see what happened. I don't want to say the words, I don't think if I'm not correct what happened, but we removed, now we put it back on again.
Okay.
So put it on hold, that might be help.
All right. Second Ward, 820 Garden Street. That one's okay? All right. Deletions, 328 South Fifth Street.
Any questions?
Council President Ballman has requested a handicap at 818 Monroe Avenue be added to the agenda. Okay, the letter dated July 31st, 2013, from Verena Consulting Group, Somerset, New Jersey, is requesting an encroachment permit to install a groundwater monitoring well in the right-of-way along the west side of 4th Avenue between the street and sidewalk near 338 South 5th Street.
Any question?
Come on.
Letter dated August 5th, 2013, from Mr. Justin Haggard, Red Bank, New Jersey, on behalf of PNC Bank Elizabeth, located at 928 South Elmora Avenue, is requesting to host a one-day grand opening event to be held October 12, 2013, from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. I've been advised that the street will not be closed.
Where is
This
it?
What day is it on?
this is in the
October 12.
in the second ward, right by the Bayway Circle on Edgar Road and South Elmora Avenue. They just opened up a bank there back in June. They wanted to do something, to attract business, customers in the area. And I just learned that the street won't be closed, but they could do it on their property. The only thing, their property is rather small, and they share the parking lot with other businesses. I don't know how the other businesses there are gonna feel about that. In particular, the little shop, that's their clothing shop, and the laundromat, and the cleaners, they all share that there, so I don't know how that's gonna work out.
But
Otherwise, I
what
wouldn't have a
street
problem
were
with
they- what street were they trying to close?
Edgar Road, between South Elmora and right before Meredith, right in front of the gas station. The BP gas station.
Yeah, that's busy. This
It is a
Saturday.
little busy, but, during the time that they wanted to do it.
But of course, that's been denied.
But in terms of this still, I don't know if they want to proceed with it or not, on their property.
I guess we could check on that. I'm pretty sure the cops will do it.
So what, they still gonna have the festival, so we still need to vote on
Yeah.
the festival.
Not the festival.
If we don't, grant closes on, we don't
No,
grant street closes.
but I think we should approve the,
Yeah, no.
The festival.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't have a problem with them doing it. I mean,
Okay, so we're
I've
gonna
been
put
in
it on?
contact with them actually about it, so.
Thank you, Mr. President.
So, yeah, I think we should put it on.
Thank you.
I just want to share with my colleagues, I know that PNC Bank, September 17th is a Tuesday from 6:30 to 8:30. They're having an event where it's like a networking event for anyone that's interested to start a business, but they have a huge, diverse speaking team that's coming. So anyone that you might know that's interested to start a business in Elizabeth, you could just refer them to that event. It sounds like it's going to be a great.
Where is it on the ground?
It's going to be at the bank.
Oh, okay.
They're doing it in conjunction with some other local
Yeah, there's a couple of people.
involved in that.
I know Carlos Sanchez.
Is any for
Yeah,
Latinos?
right,
Because I know that's,
EBC is gonna be there.
EBC
Is
is
only for
involved.
Latinos, because I know that's, Hispanic month starts on September 15th.
I don't remember.
So can you find out?
I know, it's open to me.
I remember seeing it, though. I don't
Because I
remember.
know that's week, September 15th.
Yeah.
or October 14th.
I don't think so.
No, no, it's open to anyone that's interested
Because I know a lot of
to.
are having stuff for celebration.
The manager is Charles. He's doing a lot of things in the community.
Okay.
Sure.
Letter dated August 15, 2013, from the County of Union, requesting that your honorable body designate September 20, 2013 as POW MIA Remembrance Day.
okay, we're on.
An email dated August 21st, 2013 from Future City requesting a sign be placed in the cove area of the Elizabeth River Arthur Kill watershed in honor of John Francis Dobiesch. Dobiesch.
Yeah, that's what I don't do that.
John?
No, okay, any question?
Yeah, we could call it the John Cove or whatever.
Okay.
Well,
No.
put it on. Yeah, no problem.
But I think we shouldn't put up a sign until after we do all the renovations over there.
Put on what now?
We could agree on vote on the sign, but not put it up until everything's
Renovation.
done.
Renovation.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was very involved, for those that don't know. John was one of the guys that would bring the kids from the King University to do research at the waterfront. And he died suddenly at a young age.
Yeah, I met him a couple of times. Okay.
Okay. Letter dated August 28, 2013, from Unico National Elizabeth Chapter, requesting of your honorable body to declare the month of October Italian American Heritage Month and flag raising ceremony to be held Wednesday, October 9, 2013, at noon in front of City Hall.
The mayor's gonna dance a tarantella?
Just before we go into closed session, you guys may have received in your packet a couple resolutions that we're going to discuss this evening. I have since decided not to discuss that this evening, so just disregard that resolution. So until further notice. So just you can hold them, review them, and we might be discussed some other time, but not in this, okay? Have a motion to go in closed session.
Okay.
Moved, second by Councilman Torres. Roll call.
Right. Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the governing body wishes to discuss the matter falling within the attorney-client privilege, minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires that confidentiality, then the minutes can be made public. Now therefore be it resolved that the public be excluded from this meeting. Councilwoman Perkins Augustine?
Aye.
Councilman Questa?
Aye.
Councilman Grover?
Aye.
Councilman Torres?
Aye.
Councilman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Keenan?
Aye.
Councilman Sedan?
Aye.
Councilman Mazza?
Aye.
President Gall?
Aye. I just got a couple things. One is, you probably got in the package about the prostate cancer walk. And we held at Kellogg Park on the 21st. Make note, I know you got flyers. Make note that, try to work with us and see if we can get someone to participate in it. We're gonna try to walk around the park once or twice, anytime you would like. And we'll have refreshment there, give you some water, and send you on your way. It's on a Saturday. I said again, it's on a Saturday, and I'm looking forward to it. I know I'll be able to make it at least once around. I don't know, like twice, 2 or 3 times. But see if you can bring someone with you. And naturally, I don't have to tell you how important it is for all of us to make sure that our prostate is okay.
For men, right?
No,
Yeah, women don't have
what do you
prostates.
mean?
We
Yes.
don't, but I don't have that part.
Yes. Be there anyway.
Bring your husband.
Bring your husband. And the other thing is, also for your information, you'll have also in your package about the African American Heritage Day Parade, going to be held on the 12th. I believe it's 10th.
The
15th,
15th.
sorry, 15th. So 2 o'clock at the Square, Union Square, so be there, don't be square. Looking forward to that, hope it doesn't rain. Keep your fingers crossed and prayers, and all that, good things, okay? And anybody wants to join, please contact Yolanda Edie, and I'm pretty sure she'll be able to assist you in where you are. Councilwoman Ruskin?
Yes, Mr. President, I was down at the football field, last Friday. My son had practice from 5:30 to 8. And when we left the field, it was completely clean because I wear a double hat. I'm a team mom, and I made sure everything was clean. When we came back to the field on Saturday morning at 9 a.m., the field looked like there was a party on the field. There were alcohol cans, beer cans, cigarettes, which you're not supposed to smoke or bring alcohol into the field. Garbage everywhere, water bottles everywhere. It was disgusting. And I spoke to the recreation director and the supervisor, letting them know how dissatisfied I was that we rent this field to these grown men, because they're grown men, because before the kids leave the field, they start coming around 7:30, 7:45, They're disrespectful. Now, their permit says they're not supposed to have the field until 8:30 PM to 10 PM. But in the past, they get there around 7:45, trying to rush the kids off the field. I was under the impression that they were supposed to use the field at 8 o'clock, but now that I have the permit, I see it's 8:30. So they should not even come and sit around or begin to exercise while the children are still playing. Secondly, I want this permit to be revoked from them, because
Who's the
the
group?
way they used the field, it was disgusting. And those fields are there for our youth to play on, not for grown men to come and have a party 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. Now, it says from 8:30 to 10,
10 o'clock, 10 p.m.
10 p.m.,
Okay.
and we were told that they were there 11:30, almost quarter to 12 on Friday night.
Who's the group?
EL10 Soccer League, Mr., I'm not good with these names. The last name is Money.
Money?
Yeah.
What?
Maureen
Yankees.
Yankees. And I'm gonna continue, I'm gonna research this and find out who the man
That's like a
is.
Spanish league.
And then this is what he said. He said when the supervisor asked him, did you leave garbage? He said no, and so he said, because I don't have any proof. So the director said, well, did you take pictures? Like, I didn't catch them in the act. But I know ways of catching them. I'm not gonna disclose it because their friends on the city council are gonna go and tell them. So I'm not gonna tell them how I'm
Friends on
gonna
me.
catch them, but they will be caught.
I don't know who that is, Pat.
It makes no sense. You have cigarettes there, you have alcohol, you have beer there, and none of that's supposed to be on those fields. And first of all, the signs are missing. The signs that says no drinking, no alcohol, no tobacco, those signs are gone. I need those signs put back up there.
No drinking, what else, Pat?
No drinking and no smoking.
Okay.
These are athletic fields for children. The adult uses is secondary. We put those fields in place for the football leagues and for the children's soccer leagues, not for grown adults to come and do whatever they want to do at 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night.
I agree with you, because I had the same situation on a Saturday morning. I came up, this was 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, and there was just stuff all over the place. I think whoever is in charge of the field on that day, or that night, needs to make sure that they're off the field by 10 and that they clean up. And I agree with you. If they don't do it,
Well, that
revoke
should
their
be-
permit.
and
You
these-
revoke their permit, that's
These
all.
permits, I mean, do we,
When is their permit over?
the permit is over October the 11th.
Well, then they should take it out.
Right, well, this is what, we need an ordinance around these permits, because these guys,
Well, it's
these
a-
leagues do whatever they want to do.
No, but the recreation department is supposed to monitor. Number one, if they're for-profit organizations, they're supposed to pay for the time. Number one. Number two, they're supposed to clean up after themselves, and they're supposed, we have two guys there every day. They're supposed to go out and inspect the field to make sure that whoever had that permit for that time slot kept it clean.
Now, you think,
Because I complained about this that Saturday morning to Andre. I said, Andre, look at this mess.
you think Andre's gonna, you think people are gonna listen to Andre?
No,
or
but
listen
he,
to Larry?
no, but he can, he should report what he finds, and then bring it into Joe, and then Joe brings the permit holder into the office, and if it repeats itself, they lose the permit.
Yes,
That's the
no.
way it should be done.
It should be no reason.
So it's obviously the second time, because I found it when I was there,
And if this is the second time, then I would like their permit to be.
and I second that.
What field is this one?
On the waterfront. But if that's true, we need to really.
It is true.
Yeah.
Why would I come here and
No,
tell
no,
you?
no, I'm just saying for the second time.
I have a text at 11:12 PM Friday night
From one of the residents.
from a homeowner basically saying, can you please come over here and shut these lights? They're still playing soccer. So by the time I got there at 11:30, they were just getting off the field.
Yeah, but see, that's whoever, Andre or whoever's out there, 10 o'clock, he's supposed to turn those lights off. So I'm trying to figure out, who was the supervisor that night?
No, the football season is now upon us, and we cannot have this when we have people coming in from other towns, and our field look like, we have, excuse my expression, orgies on it at night
I agree.
with cigarettes. I mean, cigarette butts on. I was there just the night before, at the same time. The field was clean. They had paper and candy and all types of stuff on the field that was not there. We don't allow our kids to come really eat on the fields. We tell them, don't bring the food on the fields. They end up with cigarette butts. Come on. You playing soccer, you smoking cigarettes and drinking beer and doing everything?
I agree.
That's one issue.
From the minute that we created these fields, there was supposed to be very strict regulations on what could be brought on the field, what couldn't.
The adults are really.
And I think that maybe if Andre can't confront them, that's fine, but then he should be calling the cops. There has to be, the reason why they're there, these gentlemen from the recreation department, is to monitor the use of fields. And he should get a copy of that permit. Every permit that's being used, those guys should have it. So at 10 o'clock, if that permit says 10 o'clock, those lights should have been off at 10 o'clock.
And it says 8:30, and I was told they had to fill at 8 o'clock. Now I'm glad that I see for myself.
It depends on the day, I guess, because
No.
sometimes, some of the permits are 8 to.
This says 8:30, you're right, this says Fridays. This one have it for Friday. I need to
Depends
find
on-
out who used it throughout the other day. Okay, that's one issue. But the second issue is the scoreboard. The school board has not worked from day one since those fields were in place. Now, that's a shame, because we spent a lot of money on that field, and also we spent a lot of money to install the school board, and it does not work. And that is unacceptable.
You're right.
Unacceptable. I don't care who it is, I don't care if it's the contractor, the city, public works, whoever is responsible for making sure that scoreboard works. I want that scoreboard to be working next week when there's some more games on that field. It's a disgrace, you have a beautiful field,
Right.
and then
I
the
agree.
people try to work the scoreboard,
And work from
and
day
then
one.
it starts
I tried using it
doesn't work.
I tried using it in the spring for the soccer game,
It doesn't
and it
work.
just flickers and
Right,
goes off.
exactly.
Has it worked from day one?
No, has not worked from day one. So we need to get our money back, or if it's still under warranty, even if it's not under warranty, we need to get some certified, there's a certified scoreboard company,
Electrician.
outfit that the city used for the other fields. I don't know why we didn't use it for the waterfront, but we need to do that, Mr. President. And these are just some of the issues that we talk about when we give contracts out to people. These are the issues.
We don't control.
That, yeah, there's no control, there's no responsibility, and we get 50 change orders. That's all I have, Mr.
I
President.
concur with
Just-
council.
Yeah, let me just, do you have on the specs or anything on the permit that they're supposed to clean? Did you guys say they're supposed to clean up after something?
I don't know if it's in the permit, but I can tell you that it's posted all over the place.
That you have to clean up by the?
Absolutely.
Isn't that permit?
I don't know if it says it on there.
No alcohol beverages are permitted
That's
on
right there.
the, on the
There you go.
woods by.
Does it say about cleaning up after?
Or
Please
in
keep
the-
the field clean.
From any debris.
Say it again now?
Please keep the field
Clean.
clean from any debris.
Okay.
This permit must be in the
Pretty
possession
encompassing of everything.
Okay,
your scheduled time period. This permit is non-transferable.
okay.
Failure to observe the above condition may cause for denial of future permits.
Okay, good, okay.
Well, it should cause for.
Plus, I don't know if this,
revocation of this current permit.
yeah, I don't know if this group does, but most adult groups have to pay. Because I know there's a group that plays on Monday nights, I believe, and they pay. They pay, I think it's $50 for every session.
I don't care, they grown men. They have cars, they have jobs. They're grown people.
But they should clean up.
They should
right
pay.
behind
Just
us.
like when you go to the gym or the spa, grown people pay for those recreational activities.
I agree.
They pay when they go play racquetball, when you guys play golf, you
I
pay.
agree.
So you're grown people, you're supposed to pay.
I agree.
But these fields are for children, not for grown people to come and destroy.
But I'll go even further. There's a group that uses, there's two groups that use the soccer fields on Mondays.
Mhm.
Okay, it's a school. They charge people it's profit, for profit, and we give them for free,
I don't
which
care,
is
I'm
a
not caring
problem.
about all that. Only thing I'm
But at
caring
least
about
kids
that
are being
they-
used, so
that
that's
they
it.
don't vandalize the property.
I agree.
And number two, another issue that I'm gonna talk with the recreation director about, the grown men having soccer on the gym inside our rec centers and kicking children out of the gym, out of our recreational centers. That's a no-no. Grown men, go to the Y, go to clubs that cater to you. These are rec centers for children. Here it is, 6, 7, 8 o'clock, 6, 7 o'clock, you're kicking children out the gym. So you can have grown people come and play soccer or play sports? No, we should not allow that. We're trying to save our children. We're trying to give them some positive outlets where they can play. So what do you do? You kick them out into the street?
Also, you put the kids at harm too,
Yes,
because they're gonna be
exactly.
playing rough, aggressive, and if one of them kicks it. I was just gonna add, maybe on the permit too, add language. I know you were concerned about them coming way too early. Maybe some language that if you have a certain time period, you could only come like 15, 30 minutes before your time, but not
Okay.
like an hour or
No, they come
45.
because practice is around 7:30. They start coming 7:45. I know on Friday, and you're not scheduled to use until 8:30. Just So there's some issues that we need to begin to clean up so that our children, can have a safe
And
day.
this is stuff that carries into O'Brien Field or any other fields.
It's gonna be in any other field.
Easy enough, they're gonna have an O'Brien Field.
Be surprised, Frank.
Frank is
not gonna
not
happen.
sleeping all night.
They gotta be residents of Elizabeth
It
and
doesn't
children
work
of
that-
Elizabeth.
Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way.
Okay,
That's gonna work.
Councilwoman, you okay? Finished?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Councilman Torres?
And they have to hire the police officers too when they play.
Mr. President, I would like a traffic study on the corner of 3rd and Pine. Several residents called me with complaints about that intersection. Also, to piggyback off the councilwoman, outside the soccer/football field, I know we have a monitor to see how fast you're going. We need more police enforcement down there. I mean, these people are flying and
Okay,
again,
on Third Street?
front,
On
on
Front
front,
Street, Front Street.
on front. And I'm just trying to prevent someone from getting hit. I know them kids, some are attended by their parents, but a lot of them go in and out by themselves, so I witnessed it where there's several cars speeding on front. Also, I know I talked to Public Works, there's actually a water leak right there on Front and Court. I talked to them 2 months ago, and they put a little horse right there, but nothing has been done.
Where's it?
It's Front and Court.
On the corner of
It's
Front
right
Street
in
and
front,
Court
it's
Street.
right in front of the soccer, right in front of the entrance. So I called like approximately 2 months ago, and they just put a horse there, but now it's gathering moisture and there's debris that's going in all, and I think it's just a hazard for the kids and the residents in the community.
It's right on the crosswalk.
Right. I actually I'll get back to that. I actually attended the festival this weekend. The carnival, the Melly Mel. Some of our colleagues was there, Mr. Mazza, Mr. Grove, and Frank Cuesta. I thought it was a well-organized event. I think the police department and the fire department did a great job. I think there was 1 arrest in 2 days. I just want to say this is one of the best events that I attended so far in the city, Melly Mel Productions. And I wanted to say thank you to a sergeant, a police officer who several residents called me over the weekend. This sergeant actually attended. He actually attended one of my homeowner's house, and she's been complaining for years, Renee. And he actually got out of his car. There's a lot of complaints in the first ward. The police officers don't get out of their car. He actually got out of his car and met her needs, and actually went to certain individuals in the street and took care of what he had to take care of. And I know Manny Elta had an incident in the first ward where I just want to say Sergeant Larry Giaconta, I just want to thank him for what he did this weekend, because we get a lot of negative press down there that the cops don't get out their car, and this officer actually did that. So that's basically it.
Can you give him accommodation?
Thank you.
Yes, I would like to give him an accommodation.
That's it, Councilman, anything else?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay. Councilman Keenan? Yes, Councilman.
Couple things. First of all, I echo the sentiments of Councilwoman Tricia Perkins Gussie, because I think if we're going to start investing millions of dollars in our waterfront and new soccer fields, we really have to get better at knowing what to do on a day-to-day basis. This is the issue that I raised a couple weeks ago. It's great to build these multi-million-dollar facilities, but if we're not going to maintain them or do something where we're going to have some rules and regulations, and if you break it, you're out, in a few years, those millions of dollars investment go out the window. So, whether it's recreation, whether it's public works, they have to build into their cost analysis some type of hard-nosed way of maintaining these facilities. Whether it's just the waterfront boardwalk, whether it's a soccer field, whether it's a water park over your ward, there has to be something that can be done so that if somebody doesn't do the right thing, you penalize them, you pull a permit from them. Or you make them bring, supervise them more stringently the next time they use the facility, But there's something has to be done. The other thing, Councilman Torres mentioned it, on Sunday night, there was craziness at, I think the address is 214 or 216 Port Avenue. I mean, I got numerous calls. Officers came there once, they came twice, the party kept going. And the sergeant who was in the radio room actually came out of the radio room and drove down there himself. Because the officers weren't looking to do anything aggressive, they just wanted these people to go home. The party wasn't breaking up. There was 90 people in this guy's household. Okay? I haven't seen, I got the reports actually dropped off in my mailbox, but they actually finally did something that we complain about all the time, quality of life. You know what? If the officers have to go to your house 2 or 3 times, yeah, you know what? You should get a ticket. Because now you've taken a cop car off the road and inconvenience other people who need services because you just don't want to obey the rules. And so he actually issued a summons for loud noise. And at the end of the day, until he arrived, that party was going to go on until whenever. So he stepped up, Sergeant Gianconda, and made sure that party was dispersed before he left that scene. So I think that was commendable on his part. The last thing, Mr. President, we received a letter from Director Cosgrove regarding the moving of the bus stop in front of 201 Elizabeth Avenue. I understand the lieutenant's comments about the shortness of space, but the reality is, if you drive around town, buses never pull to the bus stop. Okay, they always double park. You could have nobody parked at the curb in front of the bus stop, they still double park. So I don't think, whether it's 30 feet or 60 feet or 100 feet, it ain't gonna make a difference. And the reality is, the bus stop where it is now is causing a lot of headache with people leaving debris and garbage all over the place. So I'd like to ask Yolanda if you could send a letter to Director Cosgrove, as long as Councilman Torres is okay with it, that we insist that bus stop be moved from in front of that location. Because both the councilman and I have been getting a lot of complaints from the property owner that he gets there in the morning and there's just debris all over the place from people waiting for the bus. So we either move it completely out of there or move it to the other corner. But the reality is buses never pull up to the corner anyhow. So I don't even know why we have bus stops in Elizabeth, because these guys never double pull. They never pull to the corner.
It's public, New Jersey Transit,
They just never pull to the corner. It's the reality of life. And I meant to take a couple of plates down. I was following this one bus. There were corners where there was no cars parked.
And they still double park.
They still double park. And the whole point of
They're
these
supposed to
buses,
pull up to the curb.
they're supposed to.
It's hard to maneuver.
They are on, I don't know why they're on a speed routine, they want to get to their next stop, but I'll ask if we can get that sent over to the director and insist that bus stop be moved.
Anything else, Councilman?
And just the one last thing, I mentioned it before, I know our public works guys are short on manpower. I'd like to see something done, whether it's, allow us to bring some qualified people to names to the table or something, but they really need to beef up their ground forces. So, thank you.
Just add also, let you know what I have done in the 5th Ward to help you along with the noise complaint. we filed a nuisance complaint ordinance, which is $250 rap
Right.
against the homeowner, and it worked tremendous, trust
Yeah,
me.
but the officers have to be willing to do it.
Oh, yeah, trust me, I've got guys, Larry's a good guy to do it, and there's several other police officers will do it. They file, I don't know if this police officer is aware of that, you can file the nuisance, or the nuisance complaint against the homeowner.
Yep.
And that's $250 rap, which you don't wanna go to court and keep paying that.
Listen,
I've done it once or twice, and they stopped, trust me.
At this party on Sunday night,
Yeah.
there were people there from Oakwood Plaza, from all over the place.
Really.
It was craziness.
So they still can do that, really, but you already got a ticket, something for the.
Yeah, they got it for the noise, so
But
that's.
how many mentioned too, I was gonna say too, many times like the police officers, they don't write the ticket. And once they walk away, they put the music back
Yeah,
out.
no,
But that's good, I'm happy you brought up the nuisance,
Oh, yeah, $250.
ordinance, because that's something I could ask
Yeah.
for
They
specifically.
have to get into the habit of one warning. and
Against the
that's it.
homeowner now.
Yeah.
If we start letting it's like a kid. You tell your kid, don't do this. And then the second time, don't do this. And the third time, don't do this. You don't do nothing about it, you don't punish them,
But continue.
they're gonna continue.
And to do it.
And you know what? The only way you punish people is you hit them in their pocket.
Yeah, exactly, there you go. Amen. Councilman Mazza?
Yeah, Mr. President, I do echo the sentiment of the Council at Large, Patricia Perkins, and the Councilman at Large, Manny Grover, pertaining to the soccer field. Definitely, Recreation Department needs to do a better job. Not only they need to place somebody to check the cleats, because when you rent it out, cleats must be in a certain way. I know there's cleats with metal, with plastic, with rubber, and whatever. And if you don't check the cleats so people go on that field is not gonna last, it's not gonna do, long mileage. As Patsy say, if you play soccer, you're not supposed to be smoking, but those old timer, they think they are soccer players, but they are not. They just go there to play soccer, get drunk, and then do whatever they have to do. But I hope they're aware they should, take care of them differently when they get home. But primarily those soccer field, the priority should be for the youth. And of course, if there is space, then you can rent it out to local residents. And people have to be from Elizabeth. We don't have to bring people from Newark or from Hillside or whatever, from Linden or from other Woodbridge or Port and Boyne to Elizabeth, and they're given a funny address in Elizabeth. Okay, so just for the future, at least they will know when it's pertaining to 6th Ward. As long as I'm alive, they're gonna make sure that they are people that are actually from Elizabeth, our children at first priority. I'd like to have a note of complaint to Mr. Papati. Matter of fact, I'll give him a call, but I want it to be a record. They did some excavation a couple of weeks ago in order to do the drainage of O'Brien Field. And apparently, around the same time, we had a sewer line replaced between 3rd Avenue, Christine, and John Street, in which it collapsed. And the company was on an emergency appropriation. And I was there every day supervising them and seeing what they were doing. Apparently, right after the job was completed, a little storm came about. All the water from O'Brien Field came into 3rd Avenue. Actually, all the houses, we had water in our basements. Thank God I had a sump pump. I never had problem for the last 33 years that I live on 630 3rd Avenue. But this time we had problem because we finally had a new sewer line. It cost me over $7,000 to do a sewer line 15, 18 years ago. With the sewer in front of 3rd Avenue, Mr. President, was made out of bricks. Apparently it collapsed in 2 locations, right in front of Mr. DePaula's parents or uncle. That poor guy had water in the basement for days. And then further past my house, I had no problem. My water was seeping through because when I did the sewer line, I put a flap so in case the rain, the sewer gets filled, that blocks the water to come into my basement, into my sewer line. This time, eventually, I ended up to be connected right at the bottom of the sewer. I don't want to say that the county did a good job. They did a super job for replace the old sewer and put in concrete pipes. But apparently, if this is going to create a problem every time they're going to dump the water from O'Brien Field, they're going to collect the size of a soccer field, they dump into Christine and to 3rd Avenue, well, guess what? We're going to have a problem. And before we finish the job, Tony, make sure that this thing goes on record, because otherwise you're gonna bring people from Peterstown to City Hall, and you will hear for month after month, and then we'll make a political issue from out of this. They have to check it out, that the water must be equally throughout the park or throughout the soccer field, whether it's on Christine, whether it's on South 7th Street, whether it is on Third Avenue, whether it is any other location, because that line that goes into Christine, I could see they're gonna connect right into the Avenue, they're gonna make a left-hand turn. Our line is only 3 foot. And every home on Third Avenue was connected at the bottom of the sewer. When I did the line, I went on the top of the sewer. I raised up, it cost me $7,000. I disconnected the bottom sewer and I raised alongside my basement on a high pitch that when they went in the street, they went on the top of the sewer. Be a little bit intelligent. I mean, you know, my roots come from the Romans. They were great people. You know, they delivered the water, the sewer. They know about aqueduct. Boy, that's for our children to learn also, because it's education. This time our sewer line went at the bottom. And a little bit of water, I'm already defended with a flat. I might have to look for something better. I'm already protected with a sump pump, which I don't need it. I'm not in a flooding area. You are, Tony, on Christine Street, whatever you are on High Street there. But I hope you don't have any problem. So I need to have somebody, either the engineer, Paperi, to sit down again. And I don't want to see that water retention pit on the corner of 3rd Avenue and Christine Street, a huge one. I don't see any other place inside the park with those huge tubes. If that gotta be a pump, it's gonna cost the taxpayer another additional $1 million. I mean, I remember originally, when we had a debate that your council didn't want a table to discuss this issue and go to the people. The people now, they say, what's going on? They ask me a question. The mayor sent out a letter. The letter wasn't too well explained to the people that it's gonna cost them $4.5 million by the time they're gonna get done. And, you know, it's not gonna be the public library, $1 million, that's what you're paying for on the tax that Mr. Zangaro mentioned a couple of months ago. This is a lot of money. And I think we're milking the system, so we should stop doing that. Mr. President, I need to meet whoever is responsible, because this is a serious problem. For the children, do anything. I've been a soccer coach. I dedicated my life to the children of Elizabeth, to the students of Elizabeth, whether it was the boys soccer team, the girls soccer team, you know. But if this is gonna create a problem, then they better look into it, to this different thing. Or, you know, drainage is good, but if you don't maintain, with somebody from Recreation Department supervising, having a police on duty to work, so when the time comes, the permitter says 8 o'clock, they're gonna go home, and I wanna hear people yelling and screaming when I have to be asleep. I mean, I don't sleep until 8 hours, but our area is made up primarily with senior citizens. Just like when there's a festival, people banging at 2 o'clock in the morning, Tony, to wake you up, or 4 o'clock in the morning. Well, you know, those people have to learn that they cannot do that, okay?
2 in the morning till 6 in the
I
morning.
know, but you did call the councilman at 4 o'clock and I answer you, but...
You didn't answer, yes.
Yes, but, you know, Tony, it would have been me, I would have went out with a baseball bat and teach the guy a lesson. Italian style. But anyway, sorry, but that's the truth. And this is what we have to do in order to preserve our children, not to be dumb and give it to the old people that want to have a fun or play the soccer game, etc., etc. Mr. President, that's one thing. Also, I need to have somebody to report. You know, being that the park is shut down, everybody that taking their dogs, before it used to be on a sidewalk, now it's all over. They get up very early, and no matter where you step, it's really ridiculous. I mean, I love animals, you know, and if you love animals, it's like you're loving your child. If your child does the poop, you better time to change pampers to go clean him up. Same thing has to be with a dog. If it does, that you love so much, bring your bag, bring the glove, run on them, pick it up, and then put them in a garbage can around the corner. They don't do that. So, the policemen, they have enough to do their job, and if they do see, they are already on a mission to go someplace else, so we'll put that on the side.
Councilman, one question. What time did your dogs go, the people?
That's what I mean. I've been trying to spot, I took some pictures of a few people, but, you know, I don't want to get a flat tire or get my window broke because I take a picture of your wife, Mr. Councilman.
I don't want you to get, but I'm trying to, because I've been in contact with the health.
see what I mean? That's what we need, a guy in the morning to put somebody on
Give me an
overtime.
idea, what, it's 7 o'clock?
It's about 6:30, 6:45, 7 o'clock,
7
that's the
o'clock?
time, 6:30.
Okay.
I mean, you know, just tell them to stand on the corner, Christine, and you see. And before I come before city council, 6:45, 6:45 at night, they're going out again with the dogs. I mean, some of the ugly looking dogs, I mean, they said, that's Italian meat, let me grab that guy, you know? I wish maybe if he bites me, maybe he'll die full of poison, who knows? But anyway, that's a little humor. The boombox. Tony, I'm gonna send somebody right in the front of your house with a boombox at 2 o'clock in the morning.
You had one?
No, we gotta do that. I'm gonna send on purpose. One of my friends is gonna go there and put that loud music. What kind of music that you don't like, Tony?
I like them all.
Okay, well, we have a lot of music which I love. I love Latino music, I love rap music, I love all kinds of music. But you know, when you have a music, come in with a car and they're actually blasting. I could hear 3 blocks away when it's on South 5th Street. You know, we have to enforce that, and I'm sure Director Cosgrove understands this. And I usually call him, he does his job, and the police does his job. We have to enforce a little bit of this loud music, because right now, just bring the window down. We're still in the summer, we still have September, October, the Indian summer to come. I'm sure if they are so nice to give out a ticket on the street cleaning, every summer car they give out 1 ticket, they might as well, they should be give out a ticket. Anybody that has loud music, blasting, because if it's not the senior citizen area, you have a church, and it has to be quiet. If it's not a church, it's a hospital. If it's not a hospital, it's a funeral home. All those require absolutely silence and respect. It doesn't happen. So I need to enforce that. I have a memorial for Emmanuel D'Angelo. Yolanda, I'll give you the information, for Paulina Pena, or Peña, they say in Cuban. But they're missing a little cedilla on the top, so it's Pena. Mr. President, the last time we met, you did not allow me to rebuttal, because I am the 6th Ward councilman, and I'm very proud to represent the 6 wards. Before 6 wards, there used to be a large, and I was very proud to be a large, and I was a president of city council. And I conduct my meeting as an excellent president. You could check the record with John Dwyer and with resolution by city council at the end of my term. I want you to know that we don't come in only at 7:30, we come in at special meetings, and we stood until 12, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. One time we were until 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. Okay, and since then we said we have to stay no later than 1 o'clock. We agreed. And in the old time when there used to be councilmen, no offense to the rest of council lady, that we devoting ourselves is not the time consuming. It's not how quickly can you get out of the city council meeting, but how quickly you could solve the problem of your neighbors or of your city. Well, you're wearing 2 hats, Mr. President. One is city council president. One is 5th Ward council. We have the same chance I have to go around. But when you try to reprimand me or attack me on a personal basis, I have a right to tell you, Mr. President, that many times I request information, I never got it. And Yolanda could tell you that. And never, Mr. Mazza, was offensive towards the city clerk or stopped or interrupt anything. I was always polite. Even when I have the floor, I was interrupted. And you as a council president, I don't know, you take them as a joke. I don't. I'm very serious on what I do and what I bring up. I like to put humor, so it becomes in a humor way. But I keep record, and when I send letters out, I keep record from the city clerk. And things, it wasn't getting done. I'm not gonna vote against something just because it didn't satisfy Mr. Mazza, information didn't arrive to me. I'm okay, what is good for the city, that's okay, I don't mind, even if I read afterwards. But I am entitled of getting the information. And you, as a gentleman, you promised me, I'll give you the words, and then at the end, what you did, instead of giving me the words again, because you don't want to go around twice, 3 times, or 4 times because he set the rule, and I agree with that. But there's other times that there's been other members that went around not once, but twice, 3 times, and when it comes to Councilman Mazza, that's it, it's closed, and then the meeting is adjourned, when you give me the words to say. Mr. President, you have to be president, and you have to be fair. Sometimes you don't have to go home to your sweetheart at 9:15. You could stay until 10 o'clock. I could excuse myself and walk away. I don't have to listen to all the council because I know I only got a few problems. And the problem that I have will might exist to remain for future years to come. But I don't want to be known. The councilman does his job and I care for my people. But if you stop me to rebut and I tell you that that information that I request has been over a month, I never got it, in which I had to go back to the city clerk the next day, request him again, and then I went to Tony. Tony was the one who sent me that information after the fact. Okay, he said, well, you don't vote or whatever, just vote against. No, I don't like to vote against. Even against O'Brien Field, when I made a motion, first time in history, I was denied whether there was a political agenda, no. But when another councilman had happened, it was overturned. You have to be fair and equal opportunity, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, especially you. You should know what equal opportunity is. No. I'm very disappointed. I voted for you for the first time for President of City Council. First time. When you came to me and said, Mr. Mazza, could I come there you vote? I could have been City Council President. I said, yes, I got my vote. But when my turn comes, you should support me. At one time, I got the words of everybody, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. Everybody turned their back, but that's okay. There is a guy above who sees, who records, and when the time comes, he will make the final judgment. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman. You finished?
I'm finished.
Thank you. Councilman Sedillo,
That's good.
you mind?
Yeah. I just have just a few things I want to mention, and and it's interesting that tonight we're talking about what we've talked about many times, quality of life issues. When we're talking about the speeding, when we're, talking about what Councilman Mazza was talking about also with the noise and what have you, and we do need to do more to try to enforce that. I'd like to see more done with the noise. Than when people are playing loud music in their vehicles, particularly zooming by, the house and stuff like that. And I've seen on occasion a possibility that someone can be issued a summons and it doesn't happen. And others tell me, that it frustrates people when they see that and it doesn't happen. But with the speeding also, I know we talked in the past about we need to do more with those rumble strips don't work. And the speed humps, we can't get them. I wish we could find some way to put something in the streets where, we won't affect the machinery of public works and we could stop these, because you're seeing it more and more everywhere throughout the city. We need to do something, come to some compromise on that. We don't want people getting hurt or getting killed because these kids or whatever, adults are speeding up and down our streets. We have to come up with some solution. I don't know what it is, but the rumble strips aren't working. They're not working. I agree with...
I'm so sorry. And they stopped doing them overall, the rumble strips.
Well, only I think at pure request, Councilman.
Okay.
And you have to have, I believe, the resident across from one side and the resident on this side, and then the person's house is gonna go in front of them. So you have to get like almost a little square right in that area because it makes so much noise. Right.
Yeah,
So-
right.
never
the house
saw
at
so-
the time.
Right, and then once they put them down, they're not gonna put them up. Right.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that once you put them down, especially if you're a residential area,
Right.
at night when it is quiet,
Quiet, yeah.
you go over and you hear that. And if your bedroom is to the front of the
That's right,
house,
you're gonna hear it and feel it too.
yeah.
I've
So, they don't
heard
work.
that it actually shattered a bay window. That's just how my noise is. But go ahead, Councilman.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We need to come up with something, and I wish Public Works would look into more, seeing if they can come up with. So I know you've worked very hard, Mr. President, trying to come up with something, and I hope we don't lose sight of that and try to come up with something.
Well, like I said to you guys before, I know you and I had this conversation. The speed hump does work. Ladies and gentlemen, it does work. It does not affect the, and I would
They
bring it
use
to
them in Clark.
Excuse me?
They use them in Clark.
I wouldn't bring it to you if it was destroyed equipment. I love good equipment, trust me when I say that. It does not hump the equipment. And I was in, my accountants live in East Orange. And where she lived, they have them on the street. And trust me, before they had it there, these people used to fly up and down the street. Not anymore. It worked. They plow snow just the same as we does, and it worked. And even down in North Carolina, they have it there, and it worked. And they have snow in North Carolina, in Charlotte, North Carolina. So it worked. It
I
worked.
don't know, Mr.
The ones
President.
that I've seen in Clark, on Westfield Avenue in Clark, they're not just bump.
No, they call them.
Gradually go up,
There you go.
flatten out
Yep.
for about 4 or 5 feet, and then
Yep. Good
they
there.
drop down
They call them
again.
speed humps,
And
Councilman.
this way, they don't,
Right.
the machinery doesn't.
Correct. Yeah. And the same thing, and you're making mention, Councilman, you said, I think we as a council member as a whole, I think we can,
Should insist on it.
exactly.
I agree. I
Exactly.
think we need to.
I mean, come on, that's all you have to
You know,
do,
we-
just,
we-
between you and I and the lamp post, I believe, one area, I won't name the area, some of my residents are working on something of that nature now. Now, I'll have to wait till like, hit our desk here, so we'll see what happens. But I know they're fed up, and hey, I'm going to support them, whatever they come up with. It's going to be towards the direction of the speed humps. But go ahead, Councilman.
Yeah, but if there's anything we can do, I mean, I think if the majority of us agree that we need to do something more,
Why don't we
why don't we
ask,
just take the action?
Yolanda, can we as a council ask the director, maybe send a copy to the mayor, that he come up with an alternative?
Okay.
Maybe he can study towns like East Orange or Clark, because they're using them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because what these rumble strips, first of all, are very expensive.
And they don't work.
Those that glue thing that they
Yeah.
put down
It doesn't work.
takes machinery. They have to burn it.
Yeah.
And it's
At the
4
end
or
of the
5
day,
guys out
doesn't
there.
stop- It doesn't stop the
Doesn't solve the
speeders.
problem. No.
It doesn't stop.
And eventually they do wear out, they just kind of fade.
Right, they
Yeah.
fade off. Yeah.
Mr. President,
Wait till, let's make sure, Councilman.
No, if he wants to comment.
I want to comment on.
Oh,
what
okay,
he
go ahead.
said.
Okay.
Yeah, in Kenilworth on the boulevard, is a stretch out there by Norwegian Park. People do not speed. And why don't they speed? Because the Kenilworth police are out
There's a
doing
cop out
tickets.
there all the time.
The big problem here is enforcement, lack of enforcement. If we're more aggressive on the enforcement front, there'd be a
Well-
little bit better control of the problem.
The only problem with that, Councilman, naturally, with the size of our city,
Yeah,
it's much larger than Kenilworth. So they can more easily
Understood.
control
Yeah.
than Kenilworth. And I made mention that, they said to me, by putting, and the mayor and I had this conversation before, he said, give a ticket. I said, yes, but you give a ticket for maybe a day. Next day, it's the same thing. So you can't keep police officer there
Right.
on, say, Madison Avenue, which is a long stretch, Monroe Avenue, which is a long stretch, and go all the way down the neck lane. It's a long stretch, no traffic light, no stop sign, so those people are gonna speed.
Yeah, Mr. President, a couple of years ago, we had a guy giving out tickets at Westfield and Amore, and I got calls from constituents and friends and neighbors complaining that they got tickets, I said, were you speeding? Yes, I was. There you go. I agree. You're not gonna, we're too big to
Right.
be able to
Right.
blanket and control the whole
Right.
thing, but it would at least be the right thing to do. I
Yeah, but
think.
if you go with the speed hump, then you cut down the demand power, and those police officers still are giving out tickets. They could be someplace,
We can do both.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, both.
Right.
So,
Councilman, get back, let me make sure he's
yeah,
finished.
so can we do what Councilman Grover is suggesting and send a letter or something?
It's,
so
you
that
guys
way-
tell me what you wanna do.
Yeah,
What do
send
you
a
want
letter to
to
the
do?
director, tell him, based on our experience and what the speed rumble strips aren't working.
Right.
We'd like him to look into these speed humps that are being used in other towns, and obviously it doesn't affect their equipment.
That's correct.
I mean, Clark, I know in Clark on Westfield Avenue, I know there's at least 4 or 5 of them in a row. Right leading up to the police headquarters.
Yep.
And you said in East Orange?
Yep.
I know that there's some in Cranford by the schools.
Councilman said in Kenilworth?
Yeah.
I had a meet,
Well-
then Councilman, get to you, I've had a meet with the director on this issue. His fear is that we might want, and I told him, that's not true. We don't need them throughout the whole city. On certain major streets, you need them on, but not every street in Elizabeth. You don't need them on every street.
No.
But certain one, you do need them on. Can I allow him to?
Yeah, on the subject, John, not for anything. Kenilworth, every half a block, 25 mile, I went to a funeral, Mr. Palmieri, anyway. And I have a small car, 35. I try to control myself. I keep seeing that 25. Wait a second, step on the brake because you never know where they're hiding, and then you're getting a speeding tickets, and your price goes up. In Elizabeth, when I became the 6th Ward councilman, and there's a solution to the problem, Manny Grover. Director said we had only 1 machine, then I think he bought 2 new machines with a speed limit, okay? All the area that I think that was bad in the 6th Ward, We went in and everything else. I got all the results. All the speeding that I had, with the exception of the revenue, was usually late at night, 3 o'clock in the morning, where people coming back either from, let's say, my friend Bamboleo or whatever, you know, speeding. So I asked him, I said, can you put somebody there with a radar or police, just the police to stand on a motorcycle for a couple days? You know what? Nobody's speeding on the speeding section, First Avenue or on Fourth Avenue, right through the stop sign, right through the stop sign. So what's the sense of having a stop sign? Kelly was there for 2-3 days. He gave a lot of tickets. Guess what? Majority of the people that are not, they all making full stop, so they learned the lesson. That plastic thing you're talking about, Councilman, I had a bad experience with the sewer line that they did. Just, they put those metal thing, for a couple nights we couldn't sleep, bada boom, bada boom, bada boom. So I had to call the mayor had to close the street. Those plastic things makes, I don't know if you've ever been into an earthquake, but I've been into several earthquakes. Terrible, you cannot sleep. So the solution is, put a policeman, whatever there's a speed. You see the councilman come up on Clarkson Avenue, Nelson, that stop sign, that was the best thing that we did. Put a stop sign, the three-way stop.
Right.
Okay? Guess what? At the beginning it was rough, but with the sign that says, stop sign forthcoming, now the people, they gotta stop. They don't speed anymore like they did it before. So whatever the area, you have to tell the director, guess what, pick up a couple of those police officers, put them on overtime. He's got $200,000 in the budget. We keep rotating the same money. Now is the time that you have to pay. What are the streets? Westfield Avenue? Guess what? Send them on Westfield Avenue. That's it.
But his point is well taken, like down on Front Street where Councilman Torres was talking about. That monitor that's put up there is supposed to get an average speed. And it's supposed to give you an average speed throughout the day. So you don't have to have a cop there all day long. You just pick the time of the day where it's the worst, and that's where you want to have the guy there. Maybe it is an hour or 2 hours out of the day, but you know, that's what that modern technology
That's
can
what
help
it
you with.
does. Good point, Council.
Got Councilman Gonzalez, you finished?
Yeah, no, just the first issue. I want to echo the sentiments of the first ward councilman, as well as the councilman at large in terms of Sergeant Giaconda. He has been a tremendous asset, I know, to me as well. I've had the luxury of having him assist me. I was having some problems over at Van Arsdale Park over on New York Avenue, starting to get a bad element coming in there. Started to get complaints around the corner from there as well, from residents, and he did the same thing. He came out, met with the residents, he started going to the park, and we don't have those people hanging out in there anymore, drinking and smoking and doing all that stuff that we were having problems with. We were starting to have problems with, because we've never really had that problem there. So I agree with Sergeant Giaconda. He's an awesome police officer and definitely deserves to be commended, because he's helped me over the summer, absolutely. And anytime he gets involved, he's hands-on, so he's been very good. I wanted to ask a question, why certain departments that are so important that people need to get in contact don't have voicemail? Like construction. I've gotten calls from residents and inquiries from residents. Those are important, they need to contact them. They can only reach them supposedly sometime in the morning and sometime after then. In the meantime, they're supposed to be out in the field. People try to reach them, try to call them. They can't get in touch with them. Why is it this day and age with important departments like that, they don't have voicemail?
There's no
Is it
secretary?
possible? Huh?
There's no secretary taking down a message?
For whatever reason, people are just having difficulties. You know, so is it something that we
So when
can
I call
do?
out, I get the secretary, I leave a
Yeah.
message.
Yeah,
The
that's
inspector
great.
calls me around 3:30.
Yeah, I usually get them, same thing, second
Yeah,
thing.
but people want to speak to the inspector, and
Well, the inspector-
but is there some reason why some can't have voicemail? Is there some reason why we
I
can't
think,
do it?
I understand what you're saying, but I think sometimes voicemail is
Yeah,
not a
I'd
good
say-
thing either.
I'd rather speak to a live person if I can.
But I think what needs to happen, if I may, Mr. President,
Go ahead.
maybe there should be a central number that there's somebody at that desk throughout the whole day, like a secretary assigned to just answering the phone. You follow what I'm saying? So at least if they're not gonna get the inspector, they're gonna speak to Jane or Joanne or whatever and says, look, I need to speak to Inspector so-and-so, and she leaves a message for him or her to call him back, as opposed to leaving this long-winded message on a voicemail, you know what
If
I'm
it's an
saying?
inspector, yeah, it's different, but the secretaries are there.
Secretary's supposed to be there.
So the inspector.
There's 4
have a-
secretaries in the
a direct
construction
line,
department.
yeah, and then they call on that inspector.
The health department too,
Goes to cover.
you call housing, Paloma's usually, she answers the phone. Housing.
I don't know who they
And
call.
housing, but it was more here about construction, so that's why I was.
What was it?
Yeah.
Those numbers should not dead end. If there's nobody at their desk, I think.
Should be- it should go to the-
It should be routed to.
To the secretary.
I don't know if that's happening.
It's probably
Yeah.
not.
I don't know if that's what's happening. Maybe
probably
that's what it is.
Maybe that's what needs to be done.
Maybe there's, something needs to be set up so that it goes to
Yeah.
an operator or it goes to,
And
that's
ask
what
the
it is.
resident what number they're dialing also. Are they dialing into the switchboard and they're trying to switch them in, you know?
yeah.
What number they call? They call the construction?
Sometime during the day, yeah. Yeah, during
They're
the-
probably calling the 820-4000. They ask for a specific person and the telephone lady sends it to that specific person.
I get someone all the time I call.
But we know all the numbers, so we're,
Yeah, but all you gotta
Right,
call is, like I said,
right.
call the main number, and they directly right to that.
yeah, but if she's
I've even
directing
heard
it
that-
directly to Nelson Gonzalez's desk,
Yeah, but I think
Ring,
it's switches-
ring, ring, nobody's gonna pick it up.
I think I think it switches someone to cover.
It
no,
doesn't
it
automatically.
doesn't. That's the problem.
That's the problem.
That's what they saw.
Yeah.
Mr. President, I've had residents say, doesn't anybody work at City Hall? They call 3 or 4 different numbers.
Right.
And they've got no answers, and it's not because we're not open, it's because they're not physically at the desk when that call comes in, and it's not being relayed to a central number or to the secretary's desk.
Okay, all right.
But maybe we could look into that.
Process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the numbers should be all rerouted to like one or two main people to answer the phone.
I've even,
Years ago, you used to go back to the switchboard.
I've even had claims with the main number of being able to get to somebody.
That
having
I've had problems
difficulty
with.
as well. You know, so,
So the switchboard lady.
yeah,
I mean, there was a period of time where if she went to lunch, there was nobody to cover.
oh yeah. So
That's not right. That's
That's
not
not the case anymore.
right. I hope not.
Alright, well, I wanted to see, Tony, where we are with the approval for the software to automate the system over in construction and zoning. We approved something, a resolution. So I wanted to see where we are with that. You know, to automate the system for the
Yeah,
permits
do you
and all
have
that
a
stuff.
specific reference letter that you're?
Yeah, I have a copy of it here.
Oh, maybe I'll take a look at it.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to see where we're at with that. And I've been approached a couple of businesses now to see if, I know with the UEZ no longer being what it used to be, businesses asking to see if there's anything out there for assistance with improvements to their businesses, sidewalks, facades, that kind of thing. I don't know if anybody knows of anything, anywhere that may be available. You know, I know locally, county, state.
I know the seminar, Carl Sanchez was just saying they're gonna cover a lot of different topics for
Yeah.
businesses.
We're talking about like grants kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think that they're gonna answer all those
Yeah.
questions there. It's a place to start, I guess.
Yeah.
But
But
we
if
speak to him
anybody-
again, ask them to send information to city council as a
Definitely.
whole, so we, let our business.
Yeah, what topics are they gonna cover?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be good. Because again, this was specifically like grants to get some,
Yeah, I know.
you know, before we used to give them so much money.
Get facade grants
Right,
and other things.
yeah, and that, you know, they received so much money and then
They
they
could
would put the
probably
rest.
still talk to EDC.
And they only do low interest loans now.
Oh, that's it?
That's
Oh.
it.
Yeah, and they don't.
No more grants.
No more grants, but yeah. Checked around. So if anybody knows anything.
Union County,
they know.
it's the
Union County EDC, that's right,
EDC,
Council.
yeah. Try Union County EDC or the SBA, Small Business Administration, yeah.
I think they're all the same as all loans.
All loans.
Okay.
It's low interest loans. I think they're all low
Because
interest
back
loans.
to
I just thought I'd put it out there in case anybody
That's good.
cares of anything. Yeah. That's it for me, Mr. President.
Okay,
So
motion
moved.
to
So
adjourn? We adjourn.
Where we go, Mr. President?
All right.